My name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you live from Sarnia, Ontario. Today, April 13th, 2025. And it's the start of Easter, or I guess Palm Sunday, which finishes in next Sunday with Easter Sunday. So, happy Easter to whoever's celebrating. It's weird. Easter's not here in Canada. Easter's like second to Christmas. Like Christmas is the big holiday here, and Easter's still celebrated, but it's not as it doesn't seem like it's as hyped up. And in Greece, I had the opportunity to be in Greece a few times during Easter there, and it's huge. Like it's way more popular than Christmas. It's like and in a lot of countries too. It's like a whole week of intense celebrations and just spending whatever. Some are more religious than others, but they still have fun. Whoever it is, like they spend time with family. So I thought that was interesting. The difference. They got to make Easter great again here. But anyway. So things are a little slow today and Sunday, Easter, and I think in political, like watching the Canadian elections, we have the debate on Wednesday and Thursday, so maybe I think people are kind of in a holding pattern to see how the candidates perform in the debates and then go from there. So it's kind of a boring weekend, really, I thought. Carney's getting a little criticized because he's taking a day off here and there. I guess he's in the lead. He can slack off a little, I guess. I guess tonight he's doing some radio or TV interview in Quebec, in Montreal. Pierre's doing his policy announcement a day. I don't know where he was today. Jag meets up in North, trying to. I don't know what he's doing up there. He should just stay up there, up north somewhere, Timmins or something. So 2 weeks to go, and I'm kind of just like, it's almost like a nice stasis period right now, because once the election happens, and let's say the Liberals stay in power, they're just gonna go nuts and just like the UK wrote and start putting people in jail for social media and this and that and full 2030 agenda, all that stuff. So this is kind of like this is kind of the relax period for me. Like the real fight will be whoever wins the next thing. And people would like to say, "Oh, well, Pierre, if he wins, we won't go down that globalist route." Well, he's got to win, and right now he's losing, and maybe he's not winning. I don't know why he's not winning, but he's got 2 weeks to turn things around. He's doing a few podcasts, I guess. But I'm not really impressed. I saw one today. He was with some guy who's got a lot of followers. And I was looking through the chapters. They had an index there of the interview, and not one word immigration. And I listened to a few minutes of the interview. It's about an hour long. I didn't want to listen to the whole thing. And it's just like stock answers. He's trying to sound like a person, like a real person, I guess. But it's not very, it's not really convincing. But it's just like, it's like that elephant in the room. Like, people have held their tongues for enough years, and now they know if it's, now it's like they have to say when's enough, right? But you see the politicians campaign and they don't even talk about it. So unless I'm going crazy and I'm the only one who's concerned about it, but I don't think I am. So my point is maybe Pierre would be winning if he, provided an alternative path for Canadian, Canada's future. But instead, he's saying all this nonsense. The Canadian promise is anybody from anywhere can be anything, and he keeps saying that over and then. So if you're voting, you're saying, okay, well, he's basically the same as Carney regarding immigration, regarding Ukraine, regarding COVID, regarding and don't let him fool you on the COVID. He was right up with the COVID commies until when he switched when it suited him. So COVID, immigration, maybe a little difference on the woke thing, but I don't see no action take. I mean, he's got he's whatever that his deputy prime minister she's into, but the point is if you're gonna be the same, you might as well just vote for the same guy that's already in there and running things. He hasn't done much to differentiate himself because he's too afraid to talk about the issue that people are actually concerned about because they don't want to be called racist. But they've said, it's ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. You can't get health care. You can't get a house. You have to, the budgets of cities and the province and the federal government are strained and will continue. It's only going to go up, the money demands. It's expensive. So the fact that this election it's not even it's not even a topic. Not even a topic right now. Except PPC, but nobody, for some reason, nobody cares about. They don't see this as as a top issue. I don't know. They see it's Trump. I don't see Trump as an issue. That's a top issue. Our leadership is the main issue. Anyway. So yeah, he can talk all he wants, but Pierre, it's just slogans. You're just the same as the other guy. All you got is he doesn't pay taxes. It's like, yeah, tell me a rich guy who doesn't have a Bermuda bank account. Come on. That's the best you can find on him. If you would say, hey, I don't want to turn Canada and India, vote for me, but he'll never say that because he needs the votes from the enclaves. So Canada's kind of screwed. We got to figure that out. And the question is, who's going to win the election? Like right now, Carney's in depending on, and if he does decent in the debate, it's going to be hard to catch him. Because they're going to say, okay, the guy's already prime minister. And I don't like the guy at all. I'm just being an observer here. He's already prime minister. He did decent in the debate. Trump hasn't called him the governor. Well, why switch? Give him a shot. And Pierre hasn't really lit my fire. So if that happens, that could happen. I mean, that's what happens when, Pierre doesn't want to, differentiate himself on the big issues, I mean, it's like all the party leaders have mutually agreed not to talk about it. Immigration, only in the vaguest of terms when it comes to housing, whatever. Pierre only really mentions it on the really big on the sidelines of the discussion. Like, we're going to tie the immigration to housing. Yeah, but those numbers could be jigged, no problem. Like, you could say, okay, this, that. So it's not saying he's already said he'd take 250,000 a year easy, and that's not including refugees. So he already like he's already said it's not going to change drastically the system. So that's probably why he's losing. Like, I keep thinking, why is he losing? Why is he losing? And I honestly believe that, because I think that's the number one issue with a lot of people, especially the ones that have not voted because they're sick of the corruption, and they see what's happening with like the foreign influence in the parliament, and they just don't care anymore to vote. But if you get a guy coming in like saying on a Canadian nationalist agenda that could really sell it, you'd get people that didn't normally vote would vote. But when you see a wishy-washy, squishy message, the smart people who've been seen this story before are going to say, you know what, just not going to bother voting. So when you're squishy and wishy-washy like Pierre is on, especially on immigration, people aren't going to vote, and then the existing voter base you have to fight over with people on either side of you. So, but if I don't know, it's the uniparty. That's all it is. So it's like he's taking a fall in the 5th round. But like I said, I think a lot of people are in a holding pattern, wait and see for the debates. And because right now it's nothing. It's just Pierre doing like little announcements each day, and Carney doing his thing. So the debate should be, hopefully. Otherwise, I don't think I can handle 2 weeks of this. Ugh. Carney, I said before, Carney's strategy is to bore people. He's so boring, but competent. He's boring but competent. But he's not horribly boring, but just boring enough to make you not want to worry about it. I think that's his strategy, because right now, it's like 2 weeks of this. Oh. It's not like Trump. See, Trump was actually funny, and I'm not a Trump idol worship. Like, I think he's funny. I think he's a disruptor. I like that. But he was very entertaining during that election, I'll tell you. Like, there was like, what's going to happen today mentality. And Carney isn't that guy, and people like that. They don't want him to be like that. But it's very boring sometimes. But sometimes those are the worst people. The boring guys, they can lull you into complacency, and next thing you know, you're in the northern Arctic gulag. Serious. Boring you, and then next thing you know, can you get in this van here? Where you going for a ride? We're Northwest Territories. That was born there. So, yeah, the boring guys, sometimes I think you got to watch out for those guys. But I don't know. I honestly think I'm starting to come to the conclusion, and others have before me, that the powers that be said Mark Carney a year ago, said and speculation, of course, but powers that be said Mark Carney a year ago is going to be the successor, and he's going to do this, and this once he's installed, and that's it. And everything's going to look like a contest, but the decision's already made. So you have him sliding in to the advisory role, and then to the Liberal leadership, and then in the prime ministership, and now is the running things. And Pierre's kind of there to give him just like in the leadership contest. Pierre's there to give him like the semblance of competition, legitimacy, because he beat the the opposing party, even after being down by 25 points, no less. So it seems like it's been all predetermined, and that's why it's like 2 weeks of this. Ugh. With this tariff thing, and like it's like I thought it was gonna wear off, the like using Trump as the thing, but I think it might not. It might. We'll see this week, because Trump's always every week he's doing something new with the tariffs. But the way Carney has it set up, he's saying he's got it set up so like Trump or Canada and U.S. are going to have a meeting after the election and open negotiations. So really, the issue isn't what tariffs he's going to do now between now and the election. The issue is who's best to deal with that after the election. And that's I think Carney wanted it framed that way, because now he's can run on that instead of what Trudeau was doing all those years. It still might not work, but if the situation was already predetermined, then yeah, it'll work, no problem. Because I don't know, it just seems predetermined, the whole thing, and I'm worried if that's the case, what the hell is he gonna do when he does get in, especially if he has a majority? Oh my God, because Trudeau. You gotta understand, Trudeau had a minority with Jagmeet Singh, so he had to walk on eggshells a little. He couldn't do whatever the hell he wanted. He still did act like that, but he couldn't. It's a lot different when you have a majority. So, sorry guys. Ooh. So, Mark Carney with a majority would be horrible. Horrible. It's going to be interesting. But I think with him with a majority, he's going to go quick too. I don't know what he's going to have planned, but I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out. So Pierre, it'd be nice if he ran a good campaign, but I don't know if the fix is in. He's not running a really good campaign. The funny thing with Pierre is they hate him on both sides. So the people like me who think he's not enough of a nationalist, like he's not anti-immigration. He's wishy-washy on all the big issues that I care about. Okay, so he's not right-wing enough for me. But on the other side, they say he's too right-wing. Like his opponents say he's too right-wing. So we're saying, no, he's not right-wing at all. And they're saying so what that says is the guy doesn't stand for nothing. If both sides are saying that about you, that you're not right-wing enough or you're not left-wing enough, it's not a badge of honor. It means you don't stand for anything. If you're a reporter, it's a different story. A reporter gets bitched at by both sides. Usually they did a good job. But a politician, it means you don't stand for anything. So that's what we have. At least, Carney doesn't have that issue with his base. He doesn't have to juggle that. He's ultra globalist, non-repentant. All right. So that's where we are. Boring us to death. That's the strategy of Carney's election strategy. But watch out for those boring guys. Give them the levers of power. and they'll bore you to the gulag. Okay. And with that, we'll go to the my daily on X. But it was Sunday. It wasn't really, for me, there wasn't a lot. Hold on. There wasn't a lot. I had to work today and didn't really feel like there wasn't really much to watch, to be honest. They're boring me already. Okay.
Have you been to the crossing point?
Okay.
I really resent that form of argumentation.
When were you last there at all?
Sorry. Sure. So this is the first post.
I really resent it.
You should at least do the courtesy of visiting it.
All right.
This is not an attractive...
This is just this has been getting a lot of play on the weekend. Just the Douglas Murray, the Israeli shill Douglas Murray appearance on Joe Rogan, and it's like the people that are very pro-Israel saying he crushed it, and then people are very anti-Israel saying he just clowned himself. But yeah, I can't stand this guy. Like, he talks in a nice accent, so they think he's smart. But he's smart because he gets a bunch of money for covering October 7th, like it was the second Holocaust. So, but this is him. He's saying in Rogan, he was saying in Rogan, oh, you shouldn't talk about something unless you're an expert, and you shouldn't talk about something unless you've been there, and like, he's just a total idiot. He's basically calling for censorship, because like, if you're not an expert and you haven't been there, can't talk about it. That sounds like censorship to me. So they have a clip of him basically contradicting himself. So
this idea that
guy's
the
a
lived
shill,
experience has to triumph over everything else.
the only reason people
He's been to the crossing points.
I really resent that form of...
the only reason he's on this is because he's being totally astroturfed and paid prostitute.
Have you been to the crossing points?
I really resent that form of argumentation.
When were you last there at all?
Sure.
I really resent it.
You should at least do the courtesy of visiting it.
This is not an attractive invitation.
I think it's a good idea to see stuff, particularly if you spend a career talking about something.
I have the right to talk about whatever the hell I want. And no one's going to stop me or try to intimidate me. And I think that if I said to somebody else the other way around, it would be equally reprehensible.
I have a journalistic rule of trying never to talk about a country even in passing unless I've at least been there.
If I said, shut up, you have no right to criticize anything that Douglas Murray says because...
Hang on, you're talking about crossing points. And not only have you never been to a crossing point in either Egypt or in Israel, but you've never even been to the region.
Okay, it's not an exact comparison, but seriously, is that a reasonable form of argument? No. In that case, nobody can talk about anything. We might as well pack up, go home and isolate ourselves.
If you're insisting that you're an expert of some kind, or not claiming you're an expert, but still talking about it, if you've never seen any of this going on.
I mean, there are some people who've written about there are people who've written about the Holocaust who didn't experience the Holocaust and have written about it better than people who did.
But that is a different matter from spending an awfully long amount of time talking about an issue in a region you haven't even had the courtesy to visit, whilst developing all of these views about it.
This idea that the lived experience has to triumph over everything else is not always correct.
You should at least know what it is, what the territory is, what the situation is in the region.
So there's an irony to this, but let's skate over the irony.
All right. Yeah. He's a clown, that guy. I hate him. I just can't stand that guy. He's like... He's made so much money off this October 7th. He's always on my timeline. Oh. All right. Next. Everybody's complaining that their gas is still up there. I don't know. well, maybe not complaining, but I put this on today, this morning. Yeah, the reserve out in the reserve just outside town, under $1 a liter. But the rest of the town, 104, 106, 106. Convenient that the Liberals have cheap gas right at the start of right just ahead of the election. Okay. Now here's the latest Nanos numbers, the daily poll. I like the daily poll, actually. So, Liberals 44.3, Conservatives 38.6. So, everybody's picking their top two. Everybody's leaving the other smaller parties, it looks like. So, what is that? 4 points? 6 points? Yeah, a little bit, almost 6 points. Still close. Two weeks of this. Oh my God. All right, next post. Palm Sunday, Israel bombed the lone Christian hospital in Gaza. Oh, I don't think they're really into. It's Passover too, I guess. I don't think they're into Easter because they'll probably not like. They don't probably like not big fans of Easter. All right, next post. Greg Whitecliffe. Canada first. Here are the top Conservative MPs putting Canada first. So, yeah, these three are top. They'll probably get cabinet posts if Pierre wins. So it's good to look to see who these people are. I don't know who they are. But anyway, the guy on the left is connected to the World Sikh Organization. His brother is charged with cocaine trafficking. Whoa. The middle, Melissa Landsman, Jewish lesbian, lobbyist for Walmart during COVID-19 lockdowns. I'm more offended that she's a lobbyist for Walmart. She's the deputy prime minister. But come on. I'm not deputy. She's deputy conservative leader. Like that. Don't you find it a little suspicious? Suspect that Pierre wins the leadership and he appoints her as the deputy. Like, who is she? Like, what has she done? She won the MP just now, like not too long ago. Like, what has she done in her? Like, what has she accomplished to become deputy? Like, and possible deputy prime minister. So that's kind of an interesting question. It's not really selling me on the Conservative Party either. You know, Walmart lobbyist, pro-Zionist, Israeli apologist. She was a COVID commie. Like, why, you know. And then this third guy opposes deportation of international students. So, yeah, these guys will be cabinet ministers. Yeah. Okay. So this is the podcast that we were talking about with Pierre's on. His name's Shane Parrish. I've never heard of him. But I'm sure he's got a lot of followers, though. 535,000 followers. So I didn't watch this full interview because I didn't really have time. But I looked at the chapter breakdown. And there's nothing here on immigration. Like, literally nothing. Now, he could talk about immigration here in relation to some of these topics. But, like, obviously, it's not a main topic. Okay? And that's why I said, if Pierre doesn't want to talk about mass immigration destroying Canada, maybe that's why he is losing. It might be, it might not be. Corey Tanecki, Doug Ford's brain manager, thinks he needs to, like he says you need to be more anti-Trump. I think he needed to be less anti-Trump, but Corey's probably smarter than me. I don't know. But yeah, he does this podcast. He doesn't even talk about immigration. So we already know, like, what's the use? It's Carney or him. What's the use,
People into
Listen to
different
him talk
categories, and what you naturally get.
Listen to him talk.
This is a special bonus episode
couple
of the
minutes,
Knowledge
that's it.
Project featuring Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada and leader of the official opposition. I've always avoided politics on the platform, but lately I've been frustrated, not as a partisan, but as a citizen. Political conversations around the world have become nothing but angry sound bites and gotcha moments.
I have no idea
We've
who this
lost
guy
the
is.
ability to explore complex issues with nuance and good faith. This isn't just a Canadian
say?
problem,
Build
it's happening
Canada.
everywhere. So I
knowledge
decided to
project.
do something about it, even if it's just a small step. With that in mind, I've invited both of the leading candidates to the Canadian election on the show. They've both said yes, but only one is yet to record. Whether you follow North American politics closely or just catch the headlines, our conversation explores issues that affect your daily life. We dig into why prices keep rising, how tariffs impact your wallet,
All right.
the
all
real
right,
effects of
let's-
immigration
let's-
on policy, what's happening with healthcare, and even how AI is reshaping society. These aren't just political talking points, they're the forces shaping our future. I want to point out that these questions were not provided in advance, and no editorial control
All right, so he does mention immigration there, but it's not in his chapters.
was given to the candidates team. I also want to point out that our editing for the episode is incredibly minimal and nothing of substance. We're back to our regular programming Tuesday with an incredible episode on AI with OpenAI chairman and Sierra founder
Okay,
Brett Taylor. It's time.
Okay.
Privileged background. He was born into a very wealthy millionaire family, and I was born in very humble beginnings. There's a lot of policies that he has that I disagree with, and
He's talking
I
about
think
Trump
I'm
here.
distinctively Canadian in my outlook and in my goals. So I don't really see the comparison, and I'm a Canadian. I'm Pierre Poilievre. I'm no one else. I'm just me.
You mentioned being the head of the opposition and
Yes.
the adversarial role that necessarily entails. As the leader of the country, you have to unite everybody. How do you envision doing that?
Well, that's a big job. I mean, I think right now people are more divided than ever in Canada. And I think it's a bit by design. The government of the day is sought to divide people in order to stay in power. And I think that's the wrong approach. We need to unite people around what I call the Canadian promise.
The Canadian promise.
Make everyone feel like they can achieve something in this country by being part of the community and by working hard. That's what's missing right now. I also think we have to get away from identity politics, which divides people based on their group origins and separates them into categories. The reason why we haven't had big sectarian divisions in Canada is because we judge them as people as individuals on their personal character and conduct rather than their gender, their race, their religion, which has increasingly become a vogue approach by the modern progressive left.
Except
I think
when
the
you're
opposite approach is better. I think it's better to treat everyone like an individual.
Except when you're
and
pandering
give
for
them a
votes.
chance. We should stop the divisions that we see between different groups, and basically say, look, you're Canadian first. If you come to Canada, sure, bring your culture, bring your language, your food, your traditions, but the problems from abroad have to stay at home. We bring here a place where we leave all that behind and unite for our flag.
We always thought of that as assimilation when I was growing up, right? So welcome people, but also assimilating into our culture. Have we forgotten that?
I think the government has tried to encourage people to divide into different camps. And that has metastasized onto our streets with these horrible protests that target Jewish
Oh God.
places of worship and schools and businesses. And I think that's wrong. I mean, we've always had immigrants from the Middle East, and they never.
So he doesn't care that Canada is going to become India in 10 years. He's worried about the Palestinian protesters on the street. Oh my God. It's a joke, man. This is why he's losing. Look at him. And the way he talks is like we're economic units. Oh, everybody has a chance to make money and have a good life here. It's like, that's not what Canada is. Like, it's not about just, it's about having a proper country. Not just letting any fucking whatever in, whoever you want. So you can spend more money at the mall or whatever.
That never led to any kind of violence or fire bombings of places of worship. They might have debated if they were in a university class together, but it never went beyond that. And I think lately there's been this emphasis on dividing people into different categories, and what you naturally get as a result is a lot of hostility, group-based hostility, and even violence. And I think we need to put an end to that. I think everybody can keep their own cultural traditions. I think that's fine. But at the end of the day, we're Canadian first, above all our other identities. And every single person should be judged based on what their conduct is, not where they came from or where their grandfather or grandmother was born.
Has becoming a parent changed?
So that's his message throughout this campaign is everybody's welcome. You're more than welcome to be Canadian. Come on in. I'm like, whatever. Oh my God. No wonder you're losing, man. He's like, oh, you're Canadian first. Just bring your whole family. Whatever, man. Let's see. I don't want to watch too much more of this. It's too annoying. Anyway, no, I'm not going to watch anymore. That's how he talks about immigration. He's like, let's let people in as long as they act Canadian. Yeah, it's like, wait till you're outnumbered, and then they won't act Canadian, and you won't be running for prime minister. Fucking dummies, man. And unfortunately, it's a slow Sunday, so I have nothing else to talk about here. All right. Now, look at this. We got our Mark Carney, his first dress-up day as prime minister. And Jenna Suds is the MP there. Look at the dummy. She's like, you're not going to be the MP in 10 years because you're a dummy. That's Carney's wife on the left, I believe. Look at this dummy. What a traitor. Look, Carney is like, he hates it. He hates it because he knows it's bullshit. He's just like, get me out of here. But, it's politics. I got to do it. It's like they want you to do it just to show they're accepted or something. I don't know. It's stupid. Like, if you want to celebrate whatever the hell it is, Vaisakhi, go ahead, but don't. I wouldn't drag me in and put a hat on me. It's not my thing. So Mark Carney's first time playing dress up as prime minister, instead of going to a church, there's like about 20, 30 churches in my town. I'm pretty sure he could have found 30. What am I talking about? I'm pretty sure Mark Carney could have found a church today to get a photo. Son of a bitch. Got to get those Indian votes. So they really want to turn us into India. And I'm not saying anything against India, but there's already an India. We don't need another one. All right. It's ridiculous, man. And it's like, what's this deal with acknowledging every Indian holiday? They got about 10,000 of them. And then you got the Chinese holidays. and I don't know, all the different holidays from all the different countries, plus the Canadian holidays. Why don't you just keep it to a minimum? And they do this on purpose. Why are you making such a big deal of it, man? It's like, it is a big deal because it's one thing, that's another thing, and it's another thing. I think Easter's pretty important. I'm in Greece. The whole country stops the whole week. Here's Randy Hillier. This is not how I celebrate Palm Sunday, but maybe I'm just old school. So Mark Carney's. In honor to Seva at the Ottawa Sikh Society this morning. Do Seva. I don't know what that is. And community service at the heart of today's celebration. Diana, I want to wish a very happy Vaisakhi to all Sikh Canadians celebrated across the country. What the hell, man? It's like we're India, man. What the hell? What in the hell? We're going to be India soon. 10 years. All right. And I just got hit with all these posts, so I was like, what's going on here? It's like they do it on purpose. And then we got Doug Ford. See what Doug Ford said.
Community here in Ontario. Hi, everyone. Today I want to extend a warm greeting to the Sikh community here in Ontario as you celebrate Vaisakhi, as well as Sikh Heritage Month.
And it's Sikh Heritage Month.
Vaisakhi is such a special time filled with joy, renewal, and celebration of the values that make the Sikh community so strong. I'm incredibly proud of the Sikh community here in Ontario. Your contributions make our province stronger, better, and more united every single day. Wishing you and your loved ones a joyful...
Got to get those votes. And Maxine had a good poster here. Don't let them distract you with the tariff war. We are being replaced. It's totally true. Like, this tariff thing is ridiculous. Like, the whole world has to deal with it. It's not just Canada. You guys are just being, like, diabolical. Just like you used the COVID to win re-election. Just like Doug Ford used Donald Trump to win a majority. Now they're using Donald Trump to pull the switcheroo with Trudeau and Carney. It's ridiculous. Because we're on the path. It's Pierre or Carney. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. There's DC Premier David Eby, spotted at Vancouver, sharing greetings with the Sikh community, which is fine.
Reflect on the amazing contributions of the Sikh community to our province and the values of the Sikh religion to our success as a province and as a country.
All right, thank you. Happy.
It's fine if that's the way it's going to go down, but I'm not. Nobody asked me. Look at these guys. They're just there for votes, man. There's Douglas Murray again. We talked about Douglas Murray getting his little tour of Gaza with the IDF. Yeah. He's been there. And then Mark Carney's Easter message. Didn't go to church today. He didn't go to church. Maybe he'll go to church next Sunday. And I said, it's Easter, you traitor. And he's like, no, until next weekend. I was like, I think Easter the whole week. I think when Jesus, technically, if you look at Easter, he shows up in Jerusalem today. That's why they call it Palm Sunday, because they waved the palms while he was come in on the donkey. So technically, it's Easter now, if I can understand the holiday. So yeah, none of this, whatever the hell this is. And that's it. That's it. Sounds very... All right. So, basically, the response about Pierre from his supporters is that he talks about immigration all the time, and it's like, okay, he does talk about immigration. It's not like he doesn't talk about immigration, but the way he frames it is, we're going to have an efficient immigration system and bring whoever can come here and be a Canadian. It's like, what the hell does that mean? Like, that's ridiculous. Or we're going to have enough immigration to match the housing. It was like, that means if I build a million container homes or whatever the hell they're talking about, would that mean I could bring a million more in? Like he doesn't talk about stopping immigration. He talks about ways to make it more efficient. Like, his main slogan is, anybody from anywhere can be anything. That sounds like that. So yeah, he is talking about immigration. He's just not talking about the right thing. And then he says he has to be careful. He is running a campaign and the stakes have never been higher. Smart thing to do. Well, smart thing to do. He's losing. Is it the smart thing? How many millions are sitting on the sidelines because they can't stand the guy because he won't talk about immigration? And then he's talking about reduced immigration all the time. Pay attention. Is he? He's talking about 250,000 per year, mostly from probably India. And that's not including refugee applicants. And that's not including the millions that are already here that he's not going to deport. And like, it's going to be very difficult to deport them. So yeah, it's, and then he dog whistles about this century initiative, like that's for the end of the century. Like, oh, I'm against that. Of course you can be against it. It's not till the end of the century. So who cares if you're against it? So yeah, he does talk about immigration, but he talks about it in the way that you don't. He does talk about it. He just doesn't talk about it the way people want him to talk about it. Like Maxime Bernier says, moratorium, and we have to have that discussion about how come it's like we can't have it all from India, because you have to have a little balance in your immigration policy. And right now it's very heavily tilted towards India, and nobody talks about that. Pierre's too afraid because he needs those Indian votes. And Mark Carney's not afraid. He supports, they both support it. That's why Pierre's losing, because why bother? Anyway, so that's where we are today. I think that this week should be more interesting, hopefully. But I just want to get this stupid election over with. But until somebody comes in from the party, like, let's say the Conservative Party, and like tears it apart like Donald Trump did to the Republican Party, then Canada's going to go down to 2030. We're going to be living in the containers or up in the gulag. So we're in the end game now. Like, so until then, just chill out and we'll see what happens. I'll see you again Wednesday on I believe it's the election night, or not election night, debate night on the French. Is it the French? Yeah, the French debate night. So maybe we'll see some stories pop up until then to talk about that. Until then, have a nice night and a nice Easter week. Easter. Thank you.